Welcome, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the premiere episode of the Product Podcast from Meshfirm. Today, we are looking into an exciting journey of product management, and we would like to discuss what is actually product management, specifically in the new era of AI. And today, we have with us Sebastian and Nikita, and they're going to give us a little bit more wisdom on the topic. So, Nikita, do you want to take it?
So last week was very interesting. I was in Amsterdam at the Scrum gathering, and there was a lot of talk about what is going to happen with these traditionally more generalist roles like product management. You know, we come from, you don't go to university to get a product management degree as such. It's not a protected title. We come from all kinds of different backgrounds, business analysis, perhaps more technical, perhaps from marketing, and we kind of merge into this product management role. But from the conference last week, I attended a very interesting talk where they were talking about us in this coaching or generalist roles can no longer be T-shaped. We now need to be, at a minimum, pie-shaped, where we're super deep into at least one or two technical aspects, topics, areas, and also have that overview. So they're no longer hiring managers. I mean, they looked at 10,000 tech companies, predominantly in the UK, predominantly tech-focused, and they found that their hiring managers are no longer looking for product management roles or agile coach roles. They're looking for product managers who also have like a QA background or previous development background or automation testing background, or who can code in Python background, or they're looking for tech leads who have marketing experience, strangely enough. So it's quite interesting that we need to evolve product management to be focused in some area or other. And perhaps that's how it started, right? Because now it's broken down into so many different slices. You have product ops, product marketing, product owner, product manager, because it's safe. So are we going, I don't know, full circle on it, and maybe just
full circle? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you, like, so what are we then going back to where it started? And that actually, if at some point the being a generalist was encouraged or appreciated, now it's more about being really good at specific area. And I think from my experience, it's been a lot about also the industry and domain knowledge that often also tipped for me the job that I'm going to have. So are you really good with a specific area, and how much do you know, like in my cases with fintech, like how much do you know about payment processing? How technical are you on the subject? So I think what you're saying, actually, it's very relevant, or like it speaks a lot to me now. I haven't thought about it like that actually just yet. So it's good to see that.
I don't know. I think it's also a little sad, right? Because you kind of get pigeonholed into what your experience has been. I mean, do you want to, for the next, I don't know, X many years, focus your career on payment and product management? You know, that's also,
No.
I don't know.
No, but there is a value. I completely agree with you, and I also have been trying to get like different experiences and diversify a little bit. But I do see the reason why someone will also ask, specifically for that industry, and probably for other industries will apply. But the more I'm in this, the deeper I get in this, I do become an I get the stuff very quick, and I do become an expert. So that knowledge is it's quite valuable, and it requires something like 6 months to 1 year to kind of
really
get in. But I completely agree. Like from my personal perspective as well, like I don't want to do that I don't want to keep getting jobs like that only.
But it makes sense when you set a team or you have a company, right? You have someone that understands customers. Those are often the designers, and they come up with designs. You have someone that can build a solution, that is the developers, and then you have the business, right? That is this a viable business? Does it make sense? So that's typically the role of the founder in the beginning, maybe, or the CEO. But as the company grows, you need some some part of the business that can help with make those decisions, actually that can move around between those three and then make those decisions. So I think, I guess what I'm also hearing from the hiring managers is we need someone that isn't just on the design side or the development side, but someone that can actually make holistic decisions. And if you need to make holistic decisions, you need some kind of background in order to do that, right? Which could be industry background, or have a unique skill set that maybe help the developers or designers make their decisions better. So that to me actually makes sense, because if you do not come with something unique as a product manager, you really not need it, right? Because if you already have awesome design and awesome developers, then if the product managers doesn't come with a very good understanding of the business or how to market the product, sell it, or help the other ones make better decisions, they're not needed, I would say.
Yeah. So time to dust off the learning skills and
Yeah. I think another point with this, from the hiring managers I can see, is that depending on where your product is right now, then you might want to look for a specific type of PM. And I think it's back to what you said, Nikita, and what they said in the conference. But maybe you're at the stage that, development or like just your product functionality is there, and you believe that it's there, and you actually don't know what you want to do next. And you have a product, but then it's about like, oh, how do I grow this? How do I get out this to more markets, to more users? Then you will come to someone that might be more skilled with actually marketing and sales and understanding a lot better metrics and how to bring business growth, basically, or product growth. And not someone that it's super excellent in design or development even, but it's more the marketing sides and the business side of it, which I also always find this with the PMs, is that it's applied, or like a PM can be the role can be so different and can go one or another way so quickly or so easily that you rarely get, I think, a PM that is going to go across the whole spectrum.
Exactly.
You have more operational ones, you have more business ones, you have more design, technical, and it's just, I think it's very much driven by the product and then the culture of the company that you're going to have, of course.
And just something that I do want to call out about the study, it's what hiring managers want.
Or true.
Say that they want. And what they want is not necessarily what is good for the organization.
No.
So, and
that's a good point.
Okay, and another point is with founders. Founders want a unicorn. Okay, they want someone to be able to do everything and do it really, really, really well, which is also not possible, right? So I wonder if it's just also a lot of talk and how much of it is reality.
Yeah,
but what it is at the moment.
But I think you're spot on, Elena, when you're talking about like the company culture and also the life cycle of the product, maybe, or the whole organization, because it so depends. Like, what is the product? The product manager is a substitute in the beginning for the founder, right? Or or you bring in a product manager with a unique skill set for that phase. It could be scale, or it could be building a solution, or something, right? But often I find that product managers, they are like a substitute for something, or they represent something out in the world that should enable the team to operate better or reach their goals.
Exactly. It's a gel, right? That keeps everybody together. It keeps them focused, bats out the noise, identifies the true purpose and core value of the team and all that stuff. And honestly, there aren't that many of these other roles, like technical people, to be able to succinctly convey that to the team, or a marketing person to be able to do that, or designer, because they have their own vested interest and stuff. The product management generalist hat, I think, is indispensable.
It is, and it's also tough, right? Because sometimes you're the one that have to suggest some really hard choices or decisions, right? That aren't really popular. because I think if you're very domain specific in either design or dev, you come from that world and you want to make solutions that kind of fit within that, either very good for the customers or maybe it's beautiful code.
Yeah. And the accountability part as well. The reality is that the product manager has to celebrate the successes, but if things don't go according to your hypotheses or your plans, they also have to be the one to deliver the not great news to some angry stakeholders, sometimes frustrated stakeholders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was funny when I was reading that article around why Airbnb cut away their product management function. And I think the CEO, which he has a design background, so when he was standing there on stage, I think it was some Figma conference, and he was saying, "Okay, we don't have product managers anymore." What he really meant was that the designers can do a lot when it comes to the customers, and then maybe I think they merged product management with marketing, right? Because that's what they needed in their business, in Airbnb, because they need more marketing, because they're selling to primarily consumers, and then they need products that are really well marketed for consumers
and designed and stuff like that.
Similar to Apple, right? That's also producing products that need very, very good marketing in order to stand out compared to the competitors, because often it depends, right? But often you can find, if you look at the specs, competitors that are just as well as Apple, but then Apple add that bit of marketing or make it more fluent or whatever they do, right?
Yeah, of course it depends on what the organization needs, and that also is fluid and can change over time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, what is then your take on AI and how that is actually changing that same definition of product management that we've been discussing? What do you think? Is that bringing any new dimensions to product management?
Absolutely. Have you both heard of is it AI Agile or agileai.org? AIagile.org. It was again something else that I'd learned from the conference. So it was a man who, for lack of a better word, bastardized chat and focused it for product management team or product teams. So what you can do is you can, of course, give Chat GPT some information to write a user story. Then you can tweak that user story from the perspective of the tech lead in the team or of the perspective of the designer. And it will pump out some amazing acceptance criteria so that you look at the from.
I like that. I mean,
awesome. So to answer your question, Elena, there are some really, really cool evolutions of chat for like development teams and product managers now.
Yes.
Really cool.
So are we going to be replaced is the question.
We can't.
Yeah.
No. I don't think so.
The answer is no. No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, but it's always like the answer I think people always tend to say is you won't get replaced by AI, you will be replaced by someone using AI. So it works more as a superpower, right?
Yeah.
For that. Yeah. Yeah. I do believe that like we really need to get all of these tools. They need to get so perfect and so precise. And even then, if we then have everything done by tools, so everything is just done by tools, and we remove the human interaction, then I think we clearly be replaced 100%. But I think there is still a long way, and I think like we as a product managers, one of the things why we are there, and Nikita, you also said it before, is like the glue or putting things together or actually talking to many different stakeholders, people, and communicating a message, or even like persuading or engaging with someone in a way that it just requires this personal connection. Because we know that me as a person, I'm probably going to buy or like something more if I'm getting it from someone who has the right attitude towards me, who has the right charisma, who is actually speaks to me, like speaks my whatever like language. And I think that's what we will still be doing, and we're still doing. So anything that is anything that can be automated, like writing these user stories, and anything that actually we can remove the mistakes, the human errors that we are doing as well. When I'm typing a user story and I'm going to miss out, oh, I forgot to say that, the exit scenario of this story, it's whatever, something. Then of course, using that tools is going to make us more efficient. It's going to make us less error prone.
Yeah.
And help us out a lot. But that human aspect on like just being able to speak and tell a story about your product, I think we will need some good robots with good faces on walking around. And
I agree that we're not going anywhere. Writing a user story in a perfect format is such a small percentage of what we do. Okay. With AI, I feel we have to evolve quite a lot. Using some AI or ML tools to automate some mundane processes is our responsibility to pitch in a way to the business that they do not feel threatened by it, but can understand the value of it and how it can improve whatever the metric is or experience is that we're targeting. But it's not going to replace us. It is our responsibility to convey ethical AI and stuff like that, that you're not going to get an AI to educate on, if you know what I mean.
No, and it's so funny because these are tools, right? Like writing a user story, it's something you decide on in your team. We do this because it's the easiest way to capture whatever value it is we want to bring to the market. But I mean, you don't have to write a user story. Like it's just a method to create that alignment, right? And that's what I feel when you said, Nikita, that we're coming full circle, because Agile is so great for so many things. Like imagine having to write 100 pages of requirements, getting approval, and then start to build, and then 10 years later you have a piece of software, right? That's just nuts. But Agile, I think, from product management has really limited us quite a bit and really put us in a box where people see product management as, okay, we're writing user stories, we're managing the backlog, we're doing these things, and it's so low value. It is, I mean, it doesn't provide any value at all, right? Yeah.
It's such a tactical, tiny part of the role of a product person, right?
I'll just disagree a little bit. I don't think it's a low value, but it's a low value for this is an outcome. This is actually the blueprint and outcome of a lot of the other stuff that you're going to do around. So then how it looks is like you look at this 5 lines of text, maybe it's more, that they're actually super important. And this is capturing and saying like, what is the idea, what it has to happen and why it has to happen. But what is the important part, and why is a fraction, is that behind that is like all the other connections and research and communication and ideas that you had to come around to make that one user story that when you read it, it looks a little bit like, this is just a no-brainer, right? So this is just a no-brainer, but the work behind it, it's not exactly. I think that's
exactly. And another thing is the AI will never replace that empirical knowledge that it takes to get to the point of a user story. Exactly what you're saying, Elena. I totally agree.
But a user story is a great tool because it talks about what you need to do for specific customers so they can reach their outcome, right? And if you write a user story in the right way, so you capture all of that value, it should be super clear for everyone the reason why we're doing something. We're not making the button blue. We're enabling the customers to see the button easily so they can do whatever task they're wanting to do, right? And that is hard to write a user story like that. And actually, I've now, when I've had AI to help me write feature descriptions or something where I feed it with a specific template and I fill out something specific, like what is the business value, what are the hard requirements, what blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It actually helps me to think about these things, because often when you write the user story, you don't care about the last bit, like why are we doing it? You just
Yeah,
think about, okay, we need the button blue, right?
yeah.
So in that way, AI, again, it's a superpower because it's enabling me to could become a better product manager because I think about the outcomes and it's easier to communicate that to the team. Um,
Yeah, and now in the age of working with cross-functional, multi-skilled, across borders, different cultures and languages, like conveying the value in the best way that you can communicate it is, yeah, it's kind of priceless, right?
yeah, and then if the AI can modify it to the specific audience, like what you said, Nikita, that's awesome, right? Because there's no way one sentence will work for everyone.
Everyone, yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. So that was quite interesting.
yeah.
So I'm thinking about something here now, more since we discussed about AI, and how this helps us out as product managers. What do you think? How is it also helping for startups, for example, or what will be the difference for product management contributing to a startup or in a bigger company? And how does also AI, or how do you think AI will play a role in helping a startup or a bigger company?
Good question.
Yeah, all that I've heard about that is that VCs are basically throwing money at anything and everything that is generative AI now in Silicon Valley, right? Whether these things are going to turn out to be actually useful in the market, that's yet to be seen. Because right now we're just flooded with generative AI ideas.
Yeah, so you're seeing a trend where no matter, I guess, well, startup worlds, AI, generative AI, I guess, established companies will be, how do we make use of it? Or like
Because
replacement.
because you used to say software is eating the world, right? Everything is becoming software. Like if you look
Yeah.
at the camera in your phone now, of course it's good tech and it's getting smaller and smaller, but depth of field, focus, zoom, all of that is AI that's actually doing that, right? It's software. So where software was eating the world before, now maybe we're the next step where AI is now eating the world, to be honest, because we're now using more sophisticated algorithms to do this stuff where we're losing control and it's more black box. But it's still software, but it's more black box now, and it's based more on maybe the way that also like with machine learning, that they're learning over time instead of a developer building it in the first place.
Yeah.
But I think for another way of looking at your question, Elena, is also like if you look at the product management function in a startup and in a corporate, then in my experience in the startup, you want speed, right? Work as fast as possible to get to market or whatever it is. And their AI is a way for you to bootstrap that, and you can accelerate pretty much everything because you can make MVPs faster, et cetera, et cetera. And for corporates, maybe it's more about reporting and ensuring you're building the right thing and keeping everything organized. So in that way, AI can help you produce more of that material or analyze the data or something like it. So it's a little bit different things you might use it for.
In corporates as well, it's a lot of HR tech that is using some algorithms now. That's massive from what I've been reading about.
Yeah.
And also in fintech and things like that, DocuSign kinds of competitors and things. That's quite big.
Yeah, I think for corporates, I think it's like they well, a startup can pick up and adopt and just like change and move towards like being more AI driven and just use as many tools they want, or just change their approach to many things because they're smaller, they're more agile, right? And I think with for corporates, it's taking or will take them longer time to adapt. As the same as looking at just simply digitizing
Yeah.
stuff or having a digital transformation. A lot of companies are still going through digital transformation, and they have not really transformed just yet. And so that will keep going and going. Perhaps with AI, is going to get enhanced and it's going to get faster if they decide also to embark on that route, right? Because I don't think I don't think some are even taking that path yet, just because they're still tackling with having a centralized data platform, maybe, which is for many other companies a no-brainer, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Mm, but yeah, I was actually thinking that it will be a lot easier to be in a journey, in a to be in a journey, or like be part and grow with AI, to kind of be in a smaller company, in a startup, versus maybe being in a bigger company, unless that bigger company has a very, well established an agenda and is actually proactively moving towards using AI.
Yeah, at one of my previous clients, there's a lot of fear, to be honest. They
Yeah,
fear for their jobs. They fear for what AI is going to do
yeah,
to their livelihood.
yeah. But
So
it's a valid fear. I mean, it's a valid fear, because we are making up a lot of things and thinking like, oh no, he's not going to do this and not going to do that, and I will be able to still go around and make jazz hands and speak about the product. But I think there's so much operational work, and there's so many, I think, PMs and POs that they are simply facilitators, and they're so operational that they will be replaced. And this is not their fault. I think in most cases, this is the culture of the company. It's because the culture of the company is saying, we are going to tell what is going to happen, and this is going to be a completely we are agile, but we are going to put down our waterfall opinion on you, and then you are going to then make this happen. So a lot of POs and PMs, they will be impacted by this, because as long as they're doing executional work, and maybe they're supported and they have team leads, or they have like a people manager, they will probably, a lot of the tasks will be taken over with time. So I understand. I think I see the fear, or I understand why it would be. And if you're other professional, like if you're not a PM, but then if you're a developer or designer, and you're
content
limiting your tasks to
creators.
specific things, to a very specific things, you don't have a broader scope,
Yeah.
and you're not actually using creative thinking, I think you will definitely be impacted.
Yeah. Content creation and stuff like that is, yeah.
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 Yeah, you still need it's still better when you combine the creativity and so maybe AI will get there eventually, but I feel like still it's at the point where it's a tool that can help you work faster and better. But you still need the human in the driver's seat, right? For a lot of this stuff. For final
Yeah.
approval, or to just add the last 20% to really make your content shine, or whatever it is you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
foreseeable future, definitely. But if you only need to do, I don't know, 20 to 30% of what you used to do, there is the impact of scaling down that AI is going to bring about one way or the other, right?
Mm.
So I attended one of the keynote talks from Mike Walsh. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a very, very
Yeah.
enigmatic speaker. And he was talking about a number of pillars that AI would impact, and scaling is one of them. Fast fashion was another. So he was using the use case of Shein or Shine. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, like the very
Fine.
clothing brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then what they do is they have all these bots constantly monitoring what the Kardashians or these influential
Yeah,
figures,
yeah.
and within a number of hours they can make some copies of it, and 100 or so, and see how it sells in the US, and then they can ship masses out.
But they're
Yeah.
doing exactly that, right? They're copying.
Yeah.
They're taking data in,
Yes.
and then they're generating more of that data, or they're
Yeah.
merging it. But
Exactly.
they're not doing it from blank canvas, something completely different or
Yeah.
new. Of course they can, but for now it makes more sense to use AI that way to work faster to automate a lot of stuff.
Go to market a lot quicker. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But scaling was one key impact that, you're talking about.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. But it's interesting because, again, I see the use of AI being more useful for startups where they are within product or doing product things, because they're able to work fast and they're okay with taking the risks of things breaking or doing something wrong, because the risk is yeah, it's acceptable. But if you go for a startup with compliance, I mean, the whole and that's the problem with working as a startup versus working as a corporate, is that they're built to minimize risks, and they should be. Because the risks are much greater. So even though let's say Teams is rolling out auto dictation or meeting notes and this stuff, it's not enabled, right? Because where does the data go?
Yeah.
Will it go to the competitors, et cetera, et cetera? So the risk of this blocks them from adopting a lot of the technologies.
Yeah.
So is it possible for me to put forward a question, or do you have a
Yeah,
list?
of course, please do.
Please.
No, not a list. All of this is improvisation.
So I myself am trying to pivot my career to move more into product management for AI products, as a start, and then I'll see where that goes. But when I'm looking for these roles online, these hiring managers are looking for product people with X many years experience, but also
In AI.
in AI products. It's like you
Yeah.
don't get the opportunity unless you have the experience, but you'll never get the experience unless you have the opportunity.
No.
But this is not a problem now only for 10 years ago, when you would look for, and still now, if you look for any other job, there is one sentence that I've seen across. We would like, what was it? Someone that has graduated this and that, bachelor's, master's.
Yeah.
Speaks 5 languages, kind of thing, something about that. Has experience in this market, and then it's also it's a junior position, right? It's an entry-level position, but you already have all of this criteria, and you need to have experience, and then you need to have around 5 years experience. Like, how does that happen? How do you do that? Like, you want someone junior that actually has all of this and that. And I think this is a pattern for many positions, no matter if it's AI or anything else. Like, the requirements are always they're kind of high, aiming for something, maybe it's ideal, that you're still cheap, young, very smart, has a lot of experience, very diverse, speaks too many languages, and can work from Mars, from a bucket in Mars, and you're like, okay, that's me.
And you can work 16 hours a day.
And that, right? So I'm not surprised you're saying that. I have not searched for anything like that, but I am seeing this for sure.
There was a designer once that shared a job listing. It's where the designer needed to have, I think it was 7 years of experience with Figma, and at that point, Figma was only 3 years old. So it's like
exactly this type of stuff. Yeah.
So I guess, getting into these AI companies, I guess. But yeah, I mean,
what
right?
type of role is that?
Is
that product management plus extensive expertise in machine learning, or is it deep tech, or
Python, being able to code in Python, or who has 5 years in ML, AI, and understands algorithms and can and various AI technologies. I don't know if that's the right word, and being able to suggest what kind of AI you could use within the organization. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
I want to apply something here that whoever listens to this, whatever reads to this, is going to think like, what the fuck is she saying? But I want to apply this to my first time when I was getting a job in fintech, which was a little bit of like, you need to know this. You need to know this in order to be able to work in it. but then there are very few people that they know it. Unless you want to hire my father, so 10 years ago, unless you want to hire my father or someone that has been in the industry for 5+ years,
Yeah.
you won't be able to find, right? So I think with AI, it will be a little bit of the same, of like, you need to be able to understand a lot of these concepts and learn the concepts of technology, but not to the extent that you are going to do it yourself, but
Mm.
you just need to learn a little bit, like read that old book or like educate yourself about, in my case was like what is the payment flow, how is that happening, where the security aspects of that, or
Yeah.
how the data is flowing and so on. So I think a lot of this is something that we should be able to learn on the job, just applying your experience as a product manager from before. And of course, you knowing Python or not knowing Python, unless they're making you coding in Python, it doesn't really fucking matter. You just need to understand how Python works and what you need to have in place in order for this model run successfully and make something happen. Like that kind of concept, working with concepts and abstract concept. That's basically it, I think, for me.
I think it comes back
And
to our first topic. Yeah, please.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say, it's a joke. I was gonna say there's always one answer, and that is you need the data. Don't worry
Good
about
one.
the Python scripts, right? Like you need the data first.
Yeah, and the
So
clean data. And
yeah, exactly.
but I think
But
it comes
that's
again.
technical. Yeah.
Yeah, but it comes back to what we were talking about at the beginning, right? They want someone, the hiring managers want some unicorn that is able to do everything.
Yeah, they basically want a developer or kind of a CTO type of profile, someone who then has enough soft skills and enough like business sense and understanding to then suggest and make these rather technical suggestions and decisions.
Mm.
And basically, yeah, like that's kind of a CTO definition. I think by definition, that's what a CTO will do. Will take a lot of product decisions. Actually, there will be a very much technical, but then he should be able to kind of map out and understand the business side of it,
Yeah.
and take technical decisions towards the correct business angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will check what you said. I'm going to check what are the job ads for that. I want to laugh a little bit.
Just check them. They are like, are you actually
Mm.
serious? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But it's funny, like also when we talk about the role of product management, what do you guys see as the future of product management? I think back to what you said in the beginning, Nikita, where like is product management becoming more technical? It sounds like the hiring managers would love to hire someone that's more technical or understand machine learning in depth. But I feel like with all these tools where you can actually get generative AI to build apps for you using existing code, right? You need product management to be way more focused on the viability side of the business, like on the business, right?
Mm.
So, but do you guys agree, or like, what do you guys see it's headed right now, product management, or where should it be headed for it to be successful?
So it's not necessarily technical, but it is skilled in additional areas, whether it's marketing or design or I don't know, coding or
Yeah.
or whatever, or being an industry expert or something like that. So it's not necessarily technical, but it is
Yeah.
multi-skilled.
Mm.
I agree. I think what is happening is that the role is maturing,
Yeah.
right? So 10 years ago was what is that? It's still a little bit of what is that, but I think that's the growth process of the role. So I
Mm.
think we're at the point where there is more and more demand from, I think, especially knowing that there's tools, there's frameworks, there's a lot of things that they can support us. 10 years ago, there were not that many tools, there were not those frameworks, things
Yeah.
were being invented. And now there's, I think, feels like there is also a lot of information out there to kind of help you work and do a lot of things. So I think the expectation in the future of product management is literally like it's expected more than us. And then I think companies and HR managers, but let's say companies, they become more clear on like what do they think and what they want from this role, and like maybe from this person in the company. Where before I was like, well, I know I need a product manager to do something, but maybe it was like not as it was not as well formulated than what is becoming right now.
Yeah.
Because
And
can't you just use AI? Can't you just use AI to build that
I'm
expertise? Honestly,
I'm
like
yeah, I'm sure there will be companies and there will be CEOs that they will be like, I don't need none of that. I'm just going to replace everything, and this person is probably going to be fairly successful, maybe just because
yeah.
it's just, you know, going to be into it, you know, like very dedicated to probably making something like that work. But
I would always hire a
maybe.
product manager that can learn super fast and is
Yes.
good at making decisions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would too. And I would hire a product manager. Like,
Yes.
no, another thing I just wanted to add is while I went to the conference and while they were talking about product managers or these generalist roles needing to have multiple skills, LinkedIn is bombarded, Meetup, Eventbrite, all these places are bombarded with topics about product ops. I don't know if you're hearing this
Yes, definitely, yeah.
everywhere. Product marketing
Yeah.
manager and product ops and the product manager, then also the product owner.
Yeah, growth and operations, product growth and product operations are, I think, the two new or the growing buzzwords around, and it's like everyone are trying to figure out what is that and making some kind of divisions or like formulating this is what product up does and this is, you know, product growth does. And I'm like, maybe it's too much. Maybe it's like fine not to put a label on everything. Maybe it's okay to just say, well, once upon a time, we didn't call it product growth. We were not saying growth. We were basically, that was the success. Like this was just, is this product successful, you know? And what are the things that you do for this product to be successful? Do you need to get feedback from your users? You need to have data out of your product to analyze and see is this successful or not. And it's just like now shaping and breaking down into this subdivisions, which
Absolutely.
might be better. I think again that should be that will come. That comes with every company, and I think it's been modeled around the company's resources,
but it makes sense,
culture.
right? But I mean, those roles make sense, right? Because if you have product, you would want people to either build or sell, right? So product growth, someone is selling or making sure that you're getting user base is growing, either with attracting or retaining users. And the other one, product ops, is the same as what happened with design ops and design systems. Well, we're enabling people to work faster and actually kind of getting rid of the product management function altogether because we're educating people in a way, right? So I think those two trends kind of make sense. But what product ops is and if it's possible, I'm not sure because it so depends on the context, to be honest, right? Which tools use.
I applied for a product ops lead role today at a very, very big, well-known company. And they were asking some really strange questions in the application form. They were asking, what does product ops do? What are challenges that a product ops person would face? And how would you overcome? I don't know if they're actually not really needing that role and are just trying to get some market
feedback
data. Yeah, data, actually. That was the first thing that came to mind when I submitted that application form. I think you just want my sneaky idea or sneaky way to get my ideas.
Yeah.
So
it's data, so they can get the
but another thing that is
to build a new job listing, right?
Absolutely. Or I don't know, use it to improve their processes within their organization by stealing candidate application data. Another trend with AI and job searching, not limited to product, is beware about these dodgy jobs where you submit your portfolio, your CV that has all your PII, and it's actually fake job listings. So just something to be aware of. Yeah.
All right.
Using AI to scrape all the candidate application data and basically hack you. You can get like I don't know what you put in your portfolio. I have email address, phone number,
Yeah.
where I live, not
Yeah,
address,
all of it. Yeah.
but
Yeah,
city that I
yeah.
live in, Copenhagen and stuff.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Putting that together, first name, last name. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
smart. That's really smart and
Yeah.
very scary. Like
Yeah.
all these phishing mechanisms getting so tricky. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. I think we are coming towards the end of our first ever podcast. Before we say goodbye, I really want to thank both of you, and
Yeah.
I hope we're going to do that more times. And yeah, and thank you once again for joining, and until next time.